Hello there folks, I'm RJB from RGB TV and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be finishing up, well not finishing up, we're going to go into the second game between Rose and Leebokgu, but I forgot to select the replay, so just let me select the replay first and then dive into this game number 2 between the guy who only plays Zerg and Leebokgu, who most often plays Protoss. There I got the replays. Okay, let's go into match number 2. And this time around, hope that Rose, the guy who only plays Zerg, is going to have a little bit of a better showing than last time. Because last time he played absolutely amazing. His defense was super well played. His drop defense, maybe not as well played as his overall defense. His macro was amazing, perhaps a little bit too amazing because he got up to 128 drones and that absolutely killed him. It just destroyed him. It ended the game for him. He just had so many drones. He had 48 too many drones, which means 48 less Hydralisks or Zerglings. Like, that's even 96 Zerglings less. He absolutely decimated himself by having way too many drones on the minerals, way too many of them. And he didn't have too many just once, no, it was not even twice, not even thrice, 4 times in a row. After he got storm dropped, he made another 80 drones to put back on the minerals. He just had so many drones. And honestly, as a Zerg player, you only need 48 drones on the minerals. That's enough. You don't need more than that. And then you have like 30 drones on the gas. 78 drones in total on the gas and the minerals. At that point, you've got more than plenty. But the Madman went for an astronomical 128. But beside that, he really made Leebokgu work very hard for that Protoss against Zerg victory. He made him work really hard. He almost broke out at one point. So it was overall a really impressive Zerg performance. Just one big solid mistake there right in the mix. Let me just check something. I feel like I've done something wrong. I've done nothing wrong here. Like, this situation is the exact same from game number 1. So I was a little bit puzzled. Like, is this the same game? No, it's not. It's not the same game. But this opening looked the exact same. The exact same from last game. But in fact, it's not. We got a double hatchery pool coming up here from Rose, and just gonna very quickly hotkey this location there. And we got a triple gateway there coming up, 4 gateways coming up from Leebokgu. So in the last game, we went for triple gateway into a Nexus. And then of course into a Forge and Gas, Cybercore, and everything else that you need at that point. This time around, it's 4 gateways coming out from Leebokgu, playing on the name Kokani. He's a big fan of Kokani. Kokani is a Canadian player, was for a very long time the best non-Korean fastest player in the world, up until Hydra came back and Hydra took the throne. Kokani was kind of known for being a dodger. Like, he would play people a couple of times and then start smurfing and pretend it wasn't him so that he could claim it wasn't him when he lost. It's not something he used to do. But overall, he was a great player. He was a great player. Just wish he had stayed around for longer, played more. Didn't care about his perceived self-image as much as some of the other players do and just played more because his games were amusing. Anyway, fight happening here. We got great micro there from the Zealots coming out there from Leebokgu. He's going to have a lot more Zealots than the last game. A lot more of them. But he still winds up losing that fight here against the Zerglings because, as we saw in the last game, Rose has pretty damn good Zergling control, pretty good balance between production and micro. He knows exactly what to do. Like, look at him. He's growing hatcheries while building Zerglings to attack. He's on 11 drones, though. Only 11 drones. That's not great. He's waiting for an Overlord to spawn to get more Zerglings out of the map because he's currently supply blocked. But he's going to keep on pressuring on those Zealots, and that's great. He has to keep pushing those Zealots away. He cannot let those Zealots get control over this section and both cannons. That's the last thing you want. And there's going to be a little fight here with Zealots against Zerglings for a little while longer. And Zealot just keeps streaming across the map. He cannot let the cannons finish. He has to get the probe as well, but the probe is... The probe died, actually. He lost the probe. It's a little sloppy there from Leebokgu, who's sending over a new probe, but the amount of Zealots is growing dangerously large at this point. At this point, I would say, Rose, perhaps you should push a couple Sunkens out towards this section, because you do have a lot of minerals in the bank. Well, only 10 drones though, but the Zerglings might not do the trick. Because at some point, as a Zerg, you're going to be stuck producing only Zerglings and no drones. Like, only Zerglings. While the Protoss is back at home, getting more probes, getting a nexus. That's the one advantage a Protoss has on this map, is the Protoss can produce units and workers at the same time. But a Zerg cannot. A Zerg is kind of locked into either producing drones or producing units. But it looks like eventually that absolutely stupendously massive amount of Zerglings is winning the fight. But he still only has 13 drones. But because he won the fight and has 5 hatcheries now, he can now start droning up really hard and catch up with Leebokgu. So that's good. He's getting Zerg speed as well. So he's going to win the fight yet again. Leebokgu has done a great job though here at slowing his opponent down. But because he went for a late Nexus, he has slowed down himself as well. So we might see Rose get more probes, and Leebokgu has probes himself. So the drone count is going to skyrocket sometime soon, although he has to make, once again, more Zerglings, because these Zealots just keep on coming. They never stop coming. They just keep on coming and coming and coming and coming, and just keep on being sent into the fray. He's really forcing Rose to only produce Zerglings. You can see there's a 12 worker difference, so it's paying off to a degree. And it looks like Rose is still making Zerglings. He made a couple of those drones, but he's now on 18. It's not a great amount. He's getting a lair though. He's got a gas going as well. He's gonna have to stop these cannons on the middle, or go for a mega fast transition into a super defensive playstyle with sunk. Oh, that's so many Zealots. Like, at this point, this is what Leebokgu had to wait for. 12 Zealots in total. 12 Zealots just destroy massive amounts of Zerglings. And it's going to be 16 very soon. Then it's going to be 20, 24, 28, 32. It's going to get worse and worse. And it's going to limit Rose's ability to make those Zerglings useful. But the Zerglings are still doing a great job here. Although right there, that's a terrible position for Zerglings to fight into. Zerglings need a surround on a Zealot. If all the Zealots are standing in a line, the Zerglings cannot get us around, and the Zealots absolutely destroy the Zerg. So now, Rose is in a very bad spot. He's got one injured Sunken there in the back. All the Zerglings are spawning, but that's so many Zerglings. Only 6. You can see it right now. This continued Zealot pressure has allowed Leebokgu to get 41 probes, while Rose is still only on 16. He's getting a Spire though, but I think that Leebokgu saw the Spire, so he might add a more can. 9 gateways. Looks like he will keep the middle alive. The Zerglings are not winning that fight, so the row is up in the middle, support base on the way back at home, and 3 cannons are in the middle of the map. So it looks like this all is not going in Rose's favor. And something I've noticed with Rose's play is that sometimes his minerals do go up pretty high. He could have had more drones, I believe. Maybe more hatcheries, maybe a Hylisk den. I really think a Hylisk den would have been way better than going for Mulisks. But the Mulisks are awesome against the Zealots, so that might actually be his out-of-jail card. Need some vision there on the bottom corner, a little bit more vision there on the high ground. His overlords are not spread about nicely. Let's have this overlord there on the front, overlord there on the side, which doesn't get any information. You should put it right about there and see Zealots walking through that pathway. He's on 28 drones, still on half the amount of workers as Leebokgu is. But he might catch Leebokgu by surprise because only 2 cannons in the back, the third one is warping in. So if he goes for the attack very soon with about 12 to 16 Mulisks, he might just break through, kill the Nexus, kill the cannons, and maybe win the game, but also kill his own probes. But he would be exposed to an attack back at home. We do have a lot of Zealots on the middle, and we have Reavers as well in production, soon to be picked up. Speed is finished there for the Zealots, with 1 attack on the way. He's not going for the backstab attack, he's going to go for the defensive maneuver. Zealots fighting against Zerglings yet again. Reavers alone because his shield is under attack. That means the Reaver will go down to the Mulisk, so that buys Rose a lot of time. We'll show it on the map. which means no drops anytime soon. So we'll be back on 37 drones. He's droning up quite nicely. He's growing and growing. He's somehow staying in the race. He's still only on 7 of those hatcheries. Sunken went down in the back, losing a couple of drones to the Zealots as well. More drones spawning though, now in 47. This is gonna propel him forward rapidly. But Leebokgu is in a really good situation. Leebokgu is definitely in the lead, but it's not over yet for Rose. Rose still has a great opportunity here to progress and progress forward. But I really do think he is going to need a couple more units, because now we have Dragoons on the way. We got another 5 gateways, 64 probes there from Leebokgu, getting Dragoon range as well. He's looking strong, getting an Archon. An Archon? Oh, doesn't he have Storm? Maybe he does not have Storm, so he morphed to Temples into an Archon, because Archons are pretty damn strong against Mutalisks. So we got 4 cannons in the back. He's flying and he's going to try to go for the Hail Mary attack. Maybe he's not. Is he going to go for it? No, he's not going to go for the backside. He's not even checking the backside. He should just at least check the backside and see if he can jump on the Nexus and kill the Nexus. That's... okay, maybe he can't, because there's a lot of units here ready to attack. So if he was to go for the Nexus, he would die to this mass attack here from Leebokgu. Reavers coming in, drones running, they got nowhere to run to. Only a few drones die, so that's okay. That's a lot of drones. He was on like 50, now on 22, so that's a big, massive hit. He loses even more of them. So yeah, that was a big misplay there from Rose. He went for the... he tried to look for something to kill with the Mutalisks, knowing fully well that Leebokgu had Reaver production and shuttle production going up on the middle, which he should have shut down, but he did not. He could have killed this with the Mutalisks and secured the middle, but he decided not to. So yeah, this game is by now pretty much over. This is just one of those cases where a Protoss just gets the advantage from being Protoss and uses that to their advantage, because you gotta use an advantage to actually get the advantage. It sounds weird, but you know what I mean. So yeah, just a Protoss being Protoss. You can produce units and probes at the same time. You can build an entire base with 1 probe, so you can maximize the income very effectively. And all you have to do was keep up the pressure on Rose and keep pushing Rose back further and further. Keep him from spending money on drones and force him to spend money on Zerglings. And at some point, the Protoss just grows bigger than the Zerg. That's the curse of playing Zerg on fastest map. You will fall behind. No matter what you do, the Protoss grows faster than you do, given the Protoss, of course, has a really good macro, and Leebokgu has amazing macro as Protoss. He never slips up. So we have less than half the supply, less than half snipes the shuttle, snipes the Reaver. Maybe it has... it's not dying. It survives. It survives on 5 HP. Level 1 attack there on the Dragoons. Pushing forward, 47 drones. If he didn't lose those drones earlier, he would have had like double or triple or quadruple the amount of Hydralisks to defend himself. And he would be able to defend himself, but drop comes in, Storm lands, and Storm kills, and that is another GG. So 2 Rose bites the dust in game number 2. This time around, it was honestly a much more decisive loss. Much more decisive. Leebokgu snowballed and kept on balling and snowballing until he was a little bit too big for Rose to handle. But we have one more game, and maybe that spoiled it already, but this is going to be a long one, okay? I spoil that. Usually I try to not spoil the game length, but I said it by accident, so I might as well say it. This is going to be a longer one. So how is Rose going to thread the needle and blossom into a fully fledged, large, big-ass flower that Leebokgu might not be able to handle? Because that is the goal of a Zerg. Become too big to fail, too big to handle, too much to take. That is the goal of a Zerg. Can he reach that point? He almost got there in game number 1. He almost got to the point he was too big to fail, too big to handle. Just had too many drones. So let's hope he manages to avoid that mistake this time around and grow to be massive. Absolutely massive. Can he do it or can he not? only one way to find out. That is sitting through this entire game. Leebokgu against Rose. Rose, brown zerg on the bottom. Leebokgu, blue Protoss, 1 o'clock spawn location. He's going to go for a gateway on a 7 pylon. That is a team playable order. Usually unheard of in the 1 versus 1 sphere, but some players do like to go for that very fast Zealot and be aggressive, get out on the map early, and force the Zerg to once again spend a lot of minerals on Zerglings. So he's kind of got the same idea as last game, and that is force the Zerg to spend on defending and not on growing bigger and richer. That is the goal. Keep him small and grow larger with that never-ending, never-interrupting probe production. We start scouting the map there over on the left side. Scouts the top side first. This game, Rose should have a nice amount of time to grow slightly bigger than the last game before he gets even attacked, because he's probably going to be scouted on the very last location, which means he will probably have 4 hatcheries, a sunken, and probably a couple more drones, because he might delay his zergling production in favor of drones if he doesn't see any danger with his overlords here in the front. It might delay the zergling production. No danger, produce more. If there's danger, you gotta produce zerglings. That's basically the idea here. Although the overlords are moving out further into the map, but that might give his position away, although the probe does not see the overlords, so he's safe for now. Oh wait, he did see it. He saw it, he knew it. Exactly what I thought would happen. He should have kept the overlords hanging on the high grounds. Although the benefit here is that the overlords now provide vision further away from the base, so there's more reaction time. He's going for 5 hatcheries, he's adding sunkens, and once again we got the probe there building a pylon. They're going to try to get cannons up in Rose's base. This time around, the Zealots arrive before there's any defense, although the Zerg spawn just on time to try and fight off the Zealots. Drones are forced to get off of the minerals. 1 drone goes down. He's already mining gas, so 10 drones yet again, just like last game. But this game is a 3 gateway Protoss. Like 3 gateways. Not 4. 3. So it might imply that it's going to be a little bit easier to defend himself this time around. Also, building a sunken there in the front, within the range of the other sunken down below. You always want to keep your sunkens within a range of one another as you progress them forward. This time around, Leebokgu is not losing Zealots. He's keeping them at a safe distance. So this is going to be, without a doubt, an uphill battle for the Zerg hero against the evil Protoss Empire trying to whack a mole and smack him down. Sunken's finishing up. Zealots are having quite some trouble there, because as they attack the Sunken, the Zerglings have free firing time. So yeah, the Zealots will go down at some point. The Zerg here is winning. But cannons are up there in the middle. He retreats, he kills 2 Sunkens. He had to kill those 2 Sunkens. He had no choice. He had to kill them in order to secure and stabilize this position with the cannons. And he's getting an extractor back at home. And the Nexus as well. Gonna go for a Cybercore after that, and then maybe go for robotics here at this proxy base and push with the Reavers onto the drones. A small little drone harassment happening here at the bottom of the map. Gonna try to kill a couple of drones. There's 5 Zealots. You might be able to kill a couple of them. Though this egg is maybe intentionally, maybe accidentally, but knowing Rose, probably intentionally pulled down the larva to build the egg to protect the drones. That's brilliant. Something I've never seen anyone do. Never seen anyone drag the larva down to build an egg to limit the amount of Zealots that can attack drones to only 1. The pylon in the front goes down. We got another sunken there coming up on the side. There's a lot of sunkens this time around to protect the sunken. So, oh wait, it's within range of the cannon. Cancels it. Puts it a little bit further away. So yeah, he's gonna try to... It's basically a battle between cannons and sunkens. 24 drones though. This style of defense allows Rose to produce more drones. That's great. No longer forced to produce a massive amount of Zerglings and fall behind. You can see it in the worker count. 25 to 28. This game, I would say, the chances are looking much better for Rose on top of the cannon. He can take down the cannon. He secures the defense. Nice. Nicely done. Robo's on the way there in the back, though. There's only 2 cannons. And he's on 32 drones. He's got more drones than Leebokgu has pro. So that's great. That's looking great for him. But of course, Leebokgu manages to push back the sunken line a little bit, create just enough space for this one cannon to finish up, secure a little bit more space for his proxy base, and limit the amount of space Rose has to build. That's kind of the goal. Try to keep the zerg small. But he has invested a lot of money into this attempt to get control over this section. It cost him a lot of money. He has 41 drones. Rose is insanely good at macroing up if he is given the chance. So I can understand Leebokgu's playstyle. He recognizes if Rose gets the chance to grow big, he is a dangerous player. We saw it in game number 1. He is a dangerous player. He understands the defense Zerg has to play very well. And he can grow big on the back of that defense at the same time. So I can understand the playstyle from the previous game and this game, where the Protoss has to try and force the Zerg to spend on Zerglings and on Zerglings and not on drones. Because that seems to be the only way you can keep Rose small and contained. Don't let him grow big, because if he grows big, the game will go long. You might even lose the game. He finds an unprotected hatchery on the bottom. That's pretty good, because that's some material damage that slows Rose's progression down. But Rose has 1700 minerals. He's waiting for overlords to spawn. He's got a lot of hatcheries. He's got a queen's nest as well. They're finished up. He's losing drones in the backside there, though, because nothing is protected in the backside. He's getting a greater spire as well, so he's going to probably switch over into Mutalisks. He's got Lurker aspect finishing up very soon as well. He really should have built his overlords sooner, because he's still pretty close to being supply blocked. So that's a small little weakness I'm spotting there, although he does have 51 drones in total at the moment. The Reavers are finished, up and running, operational, ready to push down onto this defense. It looks kind of like a troublesome situation for Rose. Reavers are progressing rapidly. There's Dragoons on the scene as well. Leebokgu has once again, with almost perfect macro. Look at how he's spending his minerals rapidly, so quickly. It's impressive to watch Leebokgu operate to achieve his mission, to kill the Zerg before they are too big to handle. So he's having some trouble with the Reaver range. The Reavers have trouble shooting at some spaces on the map. It looks like the Reavers are crawling into sunken range, and that specifically will buy Rose some time. So Leebokgu instead then tries to attack here from the right side, where there are less sunkens than in the front. But still, that's 5 sunkens ready to fight him. Lurker arrives on the scene as well. There's no observer on the scene. The Lurkers are going to keep the Dragoons away. He might be able to move into this bottom corner. Yes, bottom corner is achieved. It's his choice. Going to try to kill whatever he can here on his bottom corner. Lurker goes down before it burrows up. So there is some opportunity here for him to kill stuff here on the bottom right. So he finds an opening. But now we have the Mutalisks. Reavers are still struggling to hit those sunkens. They're just unable to do it. Reavers are just terrible sometimes. Sometimes Reavers are just terrible. Like, they are within range, but the coding on the Reavers and the map itself stops them from firing on things within their range. It's something that I'll explain in another video sometime in the future. I'll explain it sometime in the future when I have some nice visuals to go along with it. Right now, Rose is surviving. 57 drones, 63 probes, supply almost the same. You can see it again. Reavers have to crawl within sunken range. They cannot get closer. Look at this. They can... Okay, that one can. That one can get closer. So we found the sweet spot. Like, this one cannot. That one, if he tries to shoot on this one, he has to get within range of the sunken. From here, they can shoot on everything. So that's just one of those weird little things. But that gives the Mutalisks the opportunity to kill the Reavers. Although they do take a lot of shots, but he takes out the Reavers. That's all that matters. He needs to buy himself time, grow bigger, and get Guardians, because the Greater Spire is on the way. And the Reavers are getting very close to the Greater Spire, although it's finishing up right now, which means Guardians are now morphing. Rose has managed to survive so far. This is an impressive defense. Not many players can do this. Most players would have already died to Leebokgu. But Rose has managed, with a little bit of help from dumb Reavers, managed to survive so far. His economy is big. His economy is really big. It's impressive to watch. How he's got his drones up to 68 without really taking amounts of damage that are troublesome. 75. Now the question becomes, is Rose going to go for over 100 drones again? Or is he going to stay on a more respectable, a safer amount that allows him some room to breathe and build units? At the moment, he's breaking free. He's breaking free. We are going for a long and hopefully epic Protoss against Zerg here. Because when a Zerg breaks free, when they're breaking out, you know that the Protoss is crying themselves to sleep tonight. Because this is a nightmare for Protoss. He invested thousands of minerals. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 minerals into getting this position set up. And now he's losing it. That is a nightmare. He has to rebuild everything here back at home, which he is. He's rebuilding back at home. But it's a nightmare situation for the Protoss. Now, if Rose had Hydralisks producing right now, you could maybe even go for a kill on Leebokgu, because this is the point in the game where Leebokgu is weakest. Just lost his safety zone, his buffer zone, lost the Reavers, lost the cannons, lost his investment. He's now behind on where Rose is. A Zerg with this many sunkens has a great defense. A Zerg with 84 drones has great production, great economy. Everything they need is right where it has to be. So is Rose going to try to break free, or is he going to try to secure the base and go for a longer macro game? I think a player like Burger Sass would, at this point, really just try to break free and go for the kill. But Leebokgu is doing a great job buying time with his small little army in the middle. Zealot speed just finished up. He's going to try to buy a little bit more time. Has no more storms remaining, though. The storms have ended. He's on level 1, 1, 1 upgrades there, 0, 0 there for the units on Rose's side. We've got more 5 hatcheries here in a block on the left. He's got, I'm going to count that later. But I'm going to count it now because these units don't really matter. You have his base, a lot of gateways on the way, no robotics, no Corsairs, getting new cannons on the middle to buy time. So how many hatcheries do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 hatcheries at the moment. That's a really nice amount. That's a really good amount of hatcheries. It's looking really nice. But he's giving Leebokgu a lot of time to secure the middle, and I don't like that. He really has to just go for it and break free. But he's playing to defend. He's playing not to die. And that is something that I have to criticize him for. Although he's moving with a Mulelisk flock all around the map to put them right here, move him to Guardians, and go for an attack there on the Nexus. Triple Nexus, he needs more gas. Frontal attack happening here. Leebokgu wants to try and prevent Rose from getting a big defense up and rolling. Now both players are on a pretty high amount of drones. 96 there for Leebokgu. That's more probes than I've ever seen him build in my life. Usually he is right on the money. He will probably kill some of those as the game goes on. So yeah, he wins that exchange against Guardians. More Guardians are on the way. Also here at the top we have Guardians morphing that might catch him by surprise. 103 drones. They're probably going to turn into Sunkens though. So at this point it's okay to have too many drones because you're going to turn them into spores, hatcheries, Sunkens, into real estate. So at this point it's not really that big of an issue to have this many drones. They're going to be useful. They're not going to be put on the minerals. And I hope that I don't jinx it. Because this is a lot of drones yet again. Almost back to 128 again. Another 5 there on the side. So 21 hatcheries. Is that a hatchery as well? 22 hatcheries? Yeah, he's putting them on the minerals. He just has a problem. He has a problem with estimating drones as a whole. So you're back at home in Leebokgu's base. The Guardians are getting on top of the cannons. There's nothing here back at home to defend. So he's gonna maybe kill the Nexus. While here he's trying to break through, and he is breaking through. Observer overshoots the mark. You're back at home. Yeah, the Nexus is in danger. There's literally nothing here to defend. So is this... The Guardians are taking damage from the cannon. So Guardians are slowly dying, and that means there's less Guardians to attack the Nexus. The Nexus might survive. There's a chance it survives. It's a very small chance. Almost non-existent. Nope. It's gone. Leebokgu loses the Nexus. Beautiful attack there by Rose. A very smart move. But he has 110 drones. His army is minuscule. It's small. It's the same issue from game number 1. I guess we can decisively say that Rose has a problem. A drone problem. He gets a little too many of those drones. He does not know how to control himself. He just keeps on making them. Maybe by habit, maybe by accident, maybe on purpose. He just has a problem. So we got a small little attack here coming from Leebokgu, going to try to push forward and try to keep the pressure up on Rose, but having lost the main Nexus, it really hurts a Protoss. Like, the first thing that hurts is there's less gas coming into the bank, because these probes have to travel more distance to return the gas. Drop there onto Rose, but the drop does not achieve anything. Drop, like there's so many lurkers in the back, did not achieve anything. He's got 6 extractors. He's gonna get the remaining few of them though. A drop there over the front. Is this gonna hit? Is it gonna hit? Templar on lows. Templar cannot storm because the lurkers are too damn awesome. They kill it without struggle, without problem. Templar gets no chance to storm. But we have a forecast of a little bit more lightning, as over the front side we have more shots coming in. One of them gets taken down. They're just flying in there, not ready to drop, not to storm. They're just there to distract. Something Leebokgu likes to do. Just throw a couple of them away and not use them for a drop. It's something I see him do every single game. So yeah, this is looking troublesome for Leebokgu. He's low on gas. Both players are kind of low on gas. High in minerals. Very high in minerals. I mean, are you surprised? 108 drones, of which only 18 are on the gas. So that's 90 drones on the minerals, which literally is 40 drones too many on the minerals. 40 drones too many on the minerals. Not 10, not 20, 40 too many. Drop comes in over the bottom side. Will this save Rose's economy? Templar's unloading. Templar can't storm yet again. There's too many lurkers in the back. And as a result of having so many drones, his small army is really struggling to break out. If he had more supply space for army, this might be a definitive break free. Because he wants to break free. He wants to break free from this life. It's just not happening. There's not enough units to break out. Because, like, in addition to having so many drones, he also has a lot of lurkers in the back. And those lurkers eat up supply as well. They are defensive lurkers. But he's making a breakthrough. Maybe I was doubting him for no reason. He's making forward progression. He's only moving forward, never backwards. This might be it. More Reavers will spawn very soon though. Cannons are buying time as well. The Templars are waiting for energy. But he's breaking through these... This, once again, a very expensive proxy base for Leebokgu. In danger of dying. Although there just doesn't seem to be enough. Rose really needs more gas. He's added on 2 more, so he's now on 8. Drop. Is that a drop? Is it a drop? That's a drop. You unload. Templar is ready to storm. Templar gets no storm yet again. So that's like 5 attempts to storm all the drones. And the Sunkens and Lurkers just not allowing it. Just not allowing it. It might never happen. Takes any observer. Nice snipe. Another observer on the side. 116 drones. Yet again. Gonna use them for Sunkens. Moving again with the Mutalisks to go for a Guardian sneak attack there on the back. He's gonna try to do the same again. And Leebokgu has no vision on the map, so he doesn't know this is happening. Maybe he does. I don't think he does. I don't think he knows. So we got a big push forward here. This is a strong, big army from Leebokgu. but they have to break through a very small, narrow choke point surrounded by sunkens and morphing sunkens. Now the morphing sunkens don't add any damage yet, but they do take some time to break through, so they do buy some time, even though they do not provide any damage. Now this is a really big army. Honestly, this is a big army. Sorry for that one. Like, look at this army. I've got a ball of water in my hands, and it might have been making some sound as the game has been going on, because I've been fiddling with it. I don't know why, unconsciously doing it. I put it away. So Dragoons are 2-2. Guardians, once again, coming on the bottom side, 12 of them in total, ready to once again wreak havoc there on Leebokgu's economy. Leebokgu is not liking that. Definitely is not. Guardians are on 1-0. We have the Highlanders on 1-2. Dragoons on 3-3. Reaver in the back there, crawling, making scarabs. Gets the Cyber Core. That's an amazing snipe. He's gonna get the Nexus on the bottom as well. That's gonna hurt his gas income by more than half. It's gonna absolutely decimate his gas income. So no Dragoons, less gas. More cannons going down. Dragoons are trying to help out there. On the middle we have once again an attempt to break free. And Rose is not making more drones. I like that. 95 probes there from Leebokgu. He's going to open up some space to build a triple nexus here, or double nexus, to get all the gas mining happening. An attempt to break free here from Rose. I would like to see a Defiler to make this a definitive break free, but this is fine as well. There's so many units here from Rose breaking free. Like, as long as Rose just keeps producing and sending, Leebokgu is going to fall behind at some point and feel the pain. Leebokgu is a mess. His APM went down massively. It's so far down from where he usually is. He is feeling a lot of pain, because this is a painful match for Leebokgu. Losing your Nexus like that, getting pushed out of the base by Rose, serial drone producer. He's making more drones yet again. He's making another 10. It's just... At this point, it's frustrating that Rose has no control over his drone-making habits. It's a compulsive disorder at this point. It's a compulsive disorder that forces him to produce drones against his will. I mean, he's turning them into sunkens, that's great. But I really think he should not be building sunkens at this point and just be producing and trying to kill this middle section. Because every single time he starts producing drones and building sunkens here, which he doesn't need anymore because he already has like 20 sunkens in his base to protect himself from this frontal push, he could be breaking free and stopping Leebokgu from recovering. Because look at this 1 minute of time he's giving Leebokgu. It's given him the opportunity to get his entire army on the middle. Get Templars, Reavers, Cannons all in the middle. It's going to be difficult to break through this. If he had not given him this 1 minute window of time, he maybe would not have to fight and struggle against this. But on the plus side, he's got more sunkens. More sunkens means he is less likely to die. But there's advantages to it. But Leebokgu is really down in the dumps. His APM is so much lower than it used to be. And usually that's a sign that there is a little bit of hope slipping from out of his hands. There's a little bit of him giving up. A little bit inside of him is giving up. Can he recompose himself, regain his senses, and get his shit together, so to speak, and get his play back on track? Surely this might be his one chance, although Rose has 26,000 minerals. Comes in. Nope. Yet again, no storm. No bueno. No fried drones. Some more sunkens coming up, yet again. He's now closer to 100 drones, though, so it's looking a bit better. His base is impregnable. Impenetrable. It's a fortress. This base is a nightmare for Protoss players. When you see this many sunkens, this many hatcheries, when not one of your drops has managed to land, I can understand why Leebokgu is losing hope. I can see why. Because this really is reaching the point where the Zerg is actually too big to handle, too big to fail, too much to deal with. At this point, it is an uphill battle, not for Rose, but for Leebokgu. The roles have reversed. Zerg has achieved late game massive Big Chungus status, unrivaled in production capability. So yeah, Leebokgu has to deal with the Guardians. Having to deal with the Guardians gives Rose some time to get more Guardians, and to maybe at some point get that last 2 remaining Gazers. Because he needs those 2. Those 2 remaining Gazers will improve his gas income by 25%. And that's quite a lot, to be honest. It's quite a lot. So once again, double shoulder on the side, but there's overlords everywhere. Is this gonna get in? Is this gonna get in? He's gonna try. I mean, he has to keep on trying. Templar unloads. Templar hits him. That was a lot of dead drones. 75 dead drones? I think he killed 75. Nice. So finally, we have a successful drop. But it comes 27 minutes into the game when Rose has 30,000 minerals. And Guardians with 3 Carapace and 1 attack. A lot of high Templars on the middle though, they're going to storm on the Guardians. The Guardians are not properly spread out, but the Templar fails to storm. They don't have energy for storm, so he's going to rely on the Dragoons to clean this out. Now the Dragoons do have maxed out upgrades, but they do quite well against the Guardians actually. They're doing a pretty good job. Not good enough, but it's something. Also, proxy hatchery base Rose is starting to cook. He's cooking, and he's cooking well. 5 hatcheries proxy. Although Leebokgu sees this by accident because he's building a proxy base as well. But the Guardians got taken down, a couple more Temples arrived, and they stormed them to death. The Dragoons were just kept on cutting. He moved his probes down to the south side. Because this side is shorter than this northern side, so now they mine a little bit faster. That is an important little thing that he did to fix his economy. So even though he lost his main nexus, the lack of pressure from Rose, like Rose is playing well, but he's taking a lot of time. He's giving Leebokgu a lot of time to build a bigger and get a bank. But the best thing out of Rose getting storm dropped is he's actually on a good amount of drones. The first time in 3 games, Rose has a good amount of drones. 74. It's perfect. It's perfection. The exact amount he needs. Which gives him a pretty big army to fight with. A bigger army than Leebokgu can produce, but Leebokgu has cannons and High Templars on his side. Dragoons are returning back home though, because this is a huge Overlord drop. A Nightmare drop, unloading in the front, right in the center. Although it's not as many Hylics as I thought it would be. But this will keep him occupied for a little while. He scouts the proxy base, kills the Nidus. Storms on the Hylisks, so this did clean out. It did some damage, killed the gateway, 2 robos, a cannon. The damage was not substantial, but it's something. Like he's trying to make things work. But the progress is small. So the hatcheries there on the top corner are going to die, although Hylics are spawning. You got Dragoons there trying to kill the lurker eggs before they hatch. Overlord's returning back home to pick up new units. More Templars are on the middle. He's not breaking. He should break out. I mean, it's hard to, because there's Reavers, High Templars. Zerg units just die very quickly. Also, something else to note is that all these units have to walk all the way around like this. You see this path that I'm making with my mouse? Because there's no opening here on this side. This one is blocking as well. So this is like all walled off. So units have to walk all the way around through this, into this small little tiny point, and then attack into the middle, which funnels them through a bottleneck Although another knight is finished up, he's going to try to secure this top corner. Leebokgu is now in trouble because now it's no longer... Oh, drop comes in. Just a quick second. Drop comes in. Templar does not storm. Sadly, it dies yet again. There's so many sunkens. So now, Rose is breaking into the middle of the map. Trying to, at least. Because, yeah, the lurkers are going to secure this pathway. Observers are not being moved. Got High Templars coming in to try and... Oh, observers over there. It's too far away, though. Templars arrive. Templars storming. Lurkers in between everything. Observer has to move down. Observer is not moving down, though. There's too many units here. Also unloading units inside this frontal section yet again to intercept reinforcements. Rose is putting together a pretty solid late game performance. It's not the fastest performance, but every single move he makes is calculated. And now that he's no longer restrained by the stupendous amount of drones he had earlier, he is making progress. Leebokgu is struggling. Leebokgu really is an amazing early and mid-game player. In the late game, everything kind of equalizes between players. In the late game, the playing field between all the races gets much flatter, more equal. You can see it now. Rose is putting on a great display. But so far, he has made some steps forward. He secured this Nidus proxy base. He secured it. But he still has not managed to use that advantage to put a dent into Leebokgu's bases, into his livelihood. Because this on the middle still exists. This is still a barrier that he has to overcome. It's still a barrier that he hasn't broken through. It's difficult to break through when you only have 8 gas that is limiting the amount of guardians and high-list lurkers you can make. Needs just 2 more gas. At some point he will get those 2. At some point he will get them. I just don't know when. I just don't know when. He's a stubborn man. A very stubborn man. I've finished my drink. So for the remainder of this game, no more drinking. Oh, this time around, he's got the amount of guardians he needs to break through the middle. Because Leebokgu has to focus on 2 different locations, his army is split up. His Templars are on 2 locations, his Dragoons are on 2 locations. Which means that he can now... This is the danger of late game Zerg, the proxy base. The Zerg can focus on attacking from 2 directions. It makes it so difficult for the Protoss to play. Specifically because the Protoss has no main nexus, which forces him to have more probes than he would like to have. So Rose finally making substantial progress forward. Leebokgu is feeling the noose tightening around his neck. Now is the time in his game where things start to become problematic. Although I would like to see a Defiler. He does not have a Defiler mound. He doesn't have Plague or Dark Swarm. It would be really useful to have Plague, specifically against Dragoons, or Dark Swarm, although Dark Swarm helps Zealots, but either of them would be great. Leebokgu is now contained to his base. Leebokgu has the script flipped, the table flipped. Although he has a proxy base here, he might build a proxy base here, might build a proxy gateway robo base for drops there on that 9 o'clock spawn location where Rose has no vision. That's something nice Leebokgu's going there. The possibility of a proxy base. So more sunkens coming up there on this 11 o'clock base. Guardians joining the party very slowly, but it's too few of them. This attack will get taken down easily. He needs an observer for the lurker though. He has no robos though, so observers, no bueno, can't bolt them. So he's struggling a little bit. Big wave of units coming from across the map. Yeah, the script has flipped. Leebokgu is in trouble. Rose has the upper hand. But I've seen players make a comeback from this situation that Leebokgu is in right now. Doesn't happen often, but I've seen it happen. Now all Rose has to do is actually break through. And that is the difficult part. Storms are a bitch. Storms are an absolute hindrance, an obstacle to overcome. When you have to fight through this small, narrow choke point where storms reign supreme. Storms can just rain down from the skies and kill whatever is in this pathway in the blink of an eye, because all Zerg units die very rapidly. But Rose sniffs out this proxy base. Well, it isn't a base yet, it's not a base yet, it's just a probe sitting there with some cannons. He sniffs it out and kills it. But now Leebokgu has observers yet again. He's breaking out of that small little base on his top corner, moving into the middle with a large army. Rose is focusing on just completely stupendous amounts of sunkens on this top corner base. He doesn't need them. He doesn't need them. But it does make the location more secure. Makes the game more difficult for Leebokgu. But it does give Leebokgu a lot of time to once again break free from his base, from his containment. Guardians get sniffed out. More Mulas there on the 12 o'clock, ready to be Guardians. And I noticed there on the minimap that Rose added on one more gas, so he's now 9 gas. Still not 10, but 9 is always better than 8. Now his army is at a location, at a position, but it doesn't really matter too much. The Hylists are too few in number, and they just, once again, get stormed to oblivion. Mass Guardian morphing. Mule is on the way. We got more Hylists that are coming from the top base. He knows that there are Guardians here morphing on the top. He's going to clean out the Overlords and then kill the Guardians. The Guardians are moving away though on time. Going for the attack. We have Templars in base ready to intercept them. Some Dragoons there ready to help as well. Yeah, Leebokgu has built a lot of cannons very rapidly. And it looks like Rose wasn't aware there were cannons, so he flew into the cannons, but killed the pylon on time. That's great, but now Templars are ready to storm. Army there, caught on 12 o'clock. Once again, another army attack in the front. At this point, Leebokgu is trying to scoop water out of a boat. But there's a big hole in the boat, and the water just keeps flowing in. It's a hopeless cause, but he's putting up a valiant effort. Rose has just put up so many things on the map. Got so much control over the map. It would take a miracle for Leebokgu to find a path to victory. It's possible. It's possible. But oh man, it's gonna be a difficult one. It's gonna be a difficult one. So Mass Guardians morphing, but they get sniffed out yet again by Mass Dragoons. But the Guardians finish up just on time. That's great. Which means the Dragoons might die. Templars hitting the Guardians that are still morphing. Cancels them. Moves them away. Once again, more mutas there on the top side. Observer gets sniped, so Observer sniffs it out. Guardians can take it down there on the bottom side, so this has been a back and forth where Rose tries to get Guardians up on the side, Leebokgu stops them from happening. And Rose's supply is on 133. Not sure why he is not producing anything. Yeah, he's not producing anything. He's messing around with his Guardians on the sides. Finds an opening there though, once again. But once again, High Templar is on the scene to take it down. And now they're flanked by Dragoons from both sides, so there's nowhere to run. Breaking into a Protoss is just so difficult to do. This really displays it. Although I once again have to admit, Rose is not producing anything. I don't want to say the replay is broken, but it might be broken. This feels like a broken replay. I'm just gonna give this like a couple more seconds. Okay, he's producing a lot of Hylists now. He's producing a lot of Hylists, so it might not be broken. He's producing 66 Hylists. Oh my god. And 9 Zerglings. So yeah, the replay probably not broken. Rose was just taking a short little breather. I mean, we've been here for 40 minutes. And He just needed a little bit of room to breathe, a lot of time to recover himself, to compose his mental state. Leebokgu tries to move out, but oh, this is going to be bad. His army's going to get caught in between two armies. Though he isn't actually attacking, he's just move commanding. Oh, he's splitting up his army. Oh no. This might be it. He split up his army all over the map. And Rose at the same time is going for a big frontal attack, and that might just be the thing that breaks the back of this Leebokgu. Temples unloading in the front. Reaver gonna get taken down. Massive army fight there on the middle. 2 locations. This is a great fight. Top corner there going to Leebokgu. Middle here still in favor of Leebokgu, but there's so many highlighters going straight for the main base. More Reaver spawning use on time though. More Reaver spawning use on time. Rose once again queues up a lot more highlighters. 39, 42, as many as he can in production. Slowly making progress here on the middle. Won the fight on the middle. He killed all the goons. Zealot spawning. Leebokgu has a lot of money. Leebokgu has a lot of money. A lot of gas. A lot of Reavers in production. It's gonna take Rose forever to break through. I really think Rose wasted a lot of time building this proxy base. It's cool, it's cute, it's functional. But oh boy, he wasted so much time giving Leebokgu the opportunity to get robos, get cannons, get high templars, get a lot of money in the bank. This is the downside of not keeping up consistent pressure. You give the opponent time to build. And time to build extends the game. It might even give them the opportunity to go for a counter strike. Now the great thing about these Hylists walking through this choke point is that they ball up and they get stormed, and you can kill like 20 of them with one storm. And the Reavers surrounding this pathway are just going to make it impossible to break through. Impossible. He really needs some plagues, because plagues take all the HP away, which makes everything easier to kill. But, yeah, he needs a plague. But maybe, just maybe, the Reavers will not be enough. He's just sending and sending stupendous amounts of Hylisks into this base. Reavers are almost all dead. More Reavers spawning in the back. He is not producing anything though. Rose has a really hard time producing, it seems like. But he's killing a lot here in the front. We're spawning in the back though. A lot of dragoons on the map as well. Rose has 67 Hylists in production. Like there's 8 hatchers on the top. 8 hatches on the top. And I think we concluded there was 22 or 23 in the base. So just about 30 hatcheries in total. And I think we have about, I'd say 26, 28 gateways in total as well. And 4 robos. And more cannons. This is the hardest part of a Zerg against Protoss game. Because it can sometimes feel like you're running into a brick wall. Though I must admit, Rose is not using the fighters, and the fighters really are a game changer. The fighters do not guarantee success. Storming, storming, and storming. Reavers in the back, waiting. Surrounded by cannons. Another high temple there, waiting in the top corner. Dragoons protecting the Reavers. Templar comes in yet again. Lurks on the high ground. That's a nice little, cute little thing. Look at the Reavers just mowing down waves of units. But now that Rose has saved up some gas with those waves of Hylists being produced, he can once again queue up 29 Mulisks. But the Reavers, this is a meat grinder. We had like, in the last 3 minutes, we have seen 300 Hylisks getting thrown into the meat grinder and not making any progress. It's just so difficult to do because you don't have a lot of options. You do not have a lot of options. It's so difficult to break through Reavers and High Templars, surrounded by cannons and dragoons. It's almost impossible to do. But we have Guardians, soon to join the party. Guardians can break a Protoss. You just have to space them out a little bit. so that storms don't hit too many of them. And he spaced them out decently. Not perfectly, but it's quite decently spread out. Also putting lurkers on the high ground. That's a cute little move. Getting control over the high ground. That's a cute little move. So he's going to try to make it hard for Leebokgu to move out. The first group of Guardians is finished. Group number 2 reporting in, and group number 3 ready to go. So yeah, this might be the attack. This might be the attack. Templars are moving. He only has like 6 or 7 high Templars, so it might not be enough. Dragoons cannot really fight back. There's so many Guardians on the high ground. I think it's like 30 of them, 29 of them. Not sure what it was exactly. But yes, he's making progress. This is finally... Oh, the High Templars die without storming. That is terrible. That might have just sealed the deal. He also killed a lot of his own drop. He got storm dropped. But he has 30,000 minerals. That storm drop actually helps him, because now his army is for the first time absolutely massive. Beyond comprehension. Unloading in the base, zerglings all over the place. Guardians getting stormed, but Guardians don't mind the storms because there's not enough of them to kill them. Oh, such a absolutely stupendous army attack in the front. This is huge. Look at that size. It's so big, so massive. And breaking through. Leebokgu is definitively, finally bending the knee to the Rose, and the Rose is crowned victorious. 47 minutes and about 19 seconds. Rose survived waves and waves of aggression from Leebokgu, and Leebokgu, it felt like at some points he lost hope, because once the Zerg has this, all of this, protection in the back and in the front, massive amount of hatcheries, it almost becomes impossible to break through. And the Rose displayed a slow Zerg, but a smart and effective Zerg. He really took his time in the second half. He took his time. But oh boy, was it worth it. Because in the end, he gets to crown himself victorious. He lost 2 times, but he won in the final match between these two that they played on this day. Thank you for watching. It was RGB, and I'm signing out. RGB is signing out.